that aren't able to make it today. We will be posting this recording on the conference website, so they can watch it there and always reach out if they have any additional questions. So you'll be hearing from me today, and you'll also be hearing from Jeff Schloss with NALMS. I'm sure you've had a lot of emails with Jeff back and forth, and I know you've probably heard from me as well. And Kristen and Devin are here as well to help answer any questions. There are conference contractors, so hopefully we can get you all the information you need. And again, you can always reach out if you have any more questions after today and during the call. So first, I just wanted to say thank you for your patience as we are continuing to have to make adjustments to the agenda and the attendee list with travel cost cuts. I'm sure everyone is very familiar with that. So again, thank you for your patience. Ideally, by this time, we would have the agenda ready to go, but unfortunately, this year is a bit of a challenge with that. So yes, we really appreciate your patience as we continue to make adjustments. All right, so our agenda today, we'll go over some Whova basics, oral presentation format, reminders for presenters, moderator guidelines, talk a little bit about extended sessions, FAQs, and then Jeff is going to take over for technical expert guidelines. So I'll talk about the moderator aspect of the conference, and then Jeff's going to, we'll have a chance for people to ask questions, and then Jeff will take over and do technical experts, and then we'll have a chance for questions then as well. So yeah, this is a moderator presentation, but there is information about presenters in here, since you all are kind of corralling the presenters and making sure they know what they have to do. So Whova Basics. Whova is a virtual conference platform. It's what we've used the past couple conferences. Every registrant will receive a Whova link and have a customizable profile, and the presenters in your session can edit their abstracts, post their pre-recorded presentations, post other presentation materials like their slides or photos or any papers that they reference. And moderators will be able to review the abstracts in their session through Whova once Whova is live, which the plan for that is I think Monday, but that's the current plan. And then there's a chat function as well to talk with all attendees, and there's networking capabilities. So I see the questions. Presenters should have already received a Whova link, presenters and moderators, right? Devin and Kristen.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
So if you are a presenter or a moderator and you don't have a link, reach out and we will get that straight. All right, so each session format, our typical session is 4 talks per session, 15-minute presentation with a 5-minute window for questions after each presentation, and then 10 minutes of Q&A with the group. So for you all, if you could just remind presenters of these few things, they should meet at the designated room 15 to 20 minutes before the session. Each room has a computer with Windows and MS PowerPoint on it. Their presentation should be Windows compatible. Presenters will not be able to use their own computers to present. And there's not reliable high-speed internet in each room, so they shouldn't plan on streaming it from a website or something like that. And if there are technical difficulties for them, they won't be allocated any extra time, since we are on this set 15-minute window for each presentation. So we are suggesting that presenters bring a backup copy of their presentation on a USB flash drive, just in case there are any issues. So for moderators, before the conference, again, if you could remind presenters of these few things, you can point them to the presenter guidelines on the website. Uh, you, you can remind them to register for the conference. And by February 28th, which is this Friday, it's a little bit of a loose deadline, but we are asking that each presenter has their biographical information on Whova updated. They have their slides presented or their slides uploaded to OneDrive, which they have been provided with the link to OneDrive. And uploading their slides is required. And then we have also, and that's the most important thing, getting their slides onto OneDrive for Kristen, so that way she's not scrambling, trying to find everyone's presentations. So that's the most important thing. And then we are also suggesting that presenters pre-record their presentation on Whova, and this is for the virtual attendees, and we have a good bit of virtual attendees this year. So if someone is registered virtually, they would be able to see the presentation as the conference is occurring, because it would be uploaded and pre-recorded. It's not like it won't be live streamed, but they could watch a recording of a presentation. Otherwise, we are recording the sessions to the best of our ability during the conference, but those uploaded until a little bit post-conference. All right. So moderators, before the conference, we are asking that you review moderator guidelines, which are on the website. Become familiar with all of your session abstracts via Whova. So once Whova's live, you'll be able to see your abstracts on there. Communicate with presenters in person, asynchronous, and poster. So there is a link to the presenter contact information. It's a spreadsheet. And that should have all of your presenters in your session, including in-person, asynchronous, and posters. So Devin let me know this morning that the posters in each session might need a little bit of adjusting. So it would be great if people could just delay their coordination with poster presenters just in case there is a mix-up that she needs to get straight. So the goal is to have that straight by the end of the week. And then something we are asking of moderators is to populate a slide, which I'll pull up on the next slide here, of just all of the presentations in your session. And this will be on the screen when people come to your room. So on SharePoint, there is a template for this slide that we are asking you all to fill out. And there's also a folder to save your slides. So it'll look like this, and it'll just have each of the 4 presentations, and then if there's any asynchronous talks and posters associated with your session, there's a place to put that as well, so people know to check those out. And then you would get the date and time and location of your session from the conference agenda on the website. So I brought up the link that I believe was already provided to to moderators, right? Devin and Kristen, did people already get this link to the spreadsheet?
Yes, I think it went out last night.
Okay, cool. So yeah, on that spreadsheet, there's a README tab, and that has information about this slide that we are asking you all to populate. So it has a link to the agenda, and then it has a link to the SharePoint or the SharePoint folder where you should save this slide. Much appreciated for your help with this. All right, so during the conference, moderators should ensure that you are comfortable with the lighting and technology in the room. Introduce yourself and briefly introduce the in-person presenters. Highlight all presentations associated with your session, so in-person, asynchronous, posters. And then Jeff's going to get into the Zoom recording, but this year we are going to record the entire session via Zoom. And then moderators are responsible for timing and moderating the discussion that occurs in the room and ensuring the flow of presentations from one to the next. And moderators should be prepared with a question for each presentation to spur discussion. So you all will have timing cards, so just to keep people on track as they're presenting, so that they don't run over into someone else's time. And then something else in the spreadsheet that was provided is some presenters don't have permission for their presentations to be recorded. So if that's the case, they are put at the end of the session, and you all would have to stop the recording prior to them presenting so it doesn't get included in what we post. All right, and then I just wanted to throw together some information about the, as we call them, extended sessions, which includes workshops and panel discussions and facilitated roundtables. So there's been a little bit of confusion about what's going to be live streamed and recorded. So workshops will not be live streamed or recorded since they're kind of like a hands-on situation. And if you are leading a workshop, you'll be able to use your own laptop, but please coordinate with Jeff Schloss so that way he is aware of if you have the necessary ports and other features on your laptop. He did say that he has received information from most workshop leads, but if you haven't let him know about your laptop, please do that. And then for panel discussions and facilitated round tables, the laptop will be provided. If you need to use your own laptop, it would need to be used for the entire session. And please reach out to Jeff if you need to do that. So again, he can make sure that your laptop has all the necessary features. And then there's going to be a technical expert in the room for the entire session for panel discussions and facilitated roundtables, and they will be live streamed and recorded by this technical expert. And then there are also workshop guidelines and panel and roundtable guidelines on the website that people can check out. All right, so I threw together some FAQs based on previous webinars that we've had. So one of my presenters did not show up. Should I rearrange my presentations? This is a no. Please leave them in the order that they are listed on the agenda, even if this causes a gap. And this is because people may be hopping from room to room, and we want them to be able to come to your room and rely on the schedule. What if I have technology issues in the room? So I know I brought up the technical experts on the previous slide. Volunteers will be checking in these technical experts to each session as they start to make sure all is going well. So they'll check in on you and make sure everything's good. And if there are any replacements that are needed, they'll make sure to get those for you. And then one of my presenters cannot have their presentation recorded. What should I do? Like I mentioned earlier, presentations that cannot be recorded will be placed at the end of the session. So you would just stop the recording prior to that person presenting. And then if you have any other questions, you feel free to reach out to me. Technical questions can go to Jeff, and then any agenda issues can go to Kristen. And then any Whova questions can go to Devin. So do you all have any general moderator questions that you'd like to ask? All right, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. This
Hi.
is fresh off the press here as a email as recent as like 30 seconds ago. What if a moderator is no longer able to attend?
You could just reach out to us by email, and we will get a new moderator for your session.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. All right. Amalia?
Yeah, so did we receive a list of people who have confirmed their attendance as of yet, or is that just still shifting?
So if they're in your spreadsheet, they should have confirmed that they are presenting. If they're in your in the tab that the spreadsheet, if you know, do you know what I'm talking about? The spreadsheet that was sent to everyone, your session has a tab in it, and if they're included in that, then they should have confirmed their that they're going to present.
Okay, I will look for that
Hey, Lily,
spreadsheet.
this is Kristen. I just want
Yeah.
to say that they confirmed, the speakers confirmed, but that doesn't necessarily mean 100%. I would say that they're going to be there until, I would say, the day of the session. I'm not counting on anything until then.
Makes sense, thanks.
Lily, or can you remind me what I look for in my email to figure out where that spreadsheet is that you were just talking about with Amalia?
Sure, yeah. So I think Devin said that it got sent out last night, but is someone able to paste the spreadsheet link in the chat?
Yeah, I can do that.
So an email should
do a
have
whole
come
OneDrive.
from. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the OneDrive link will have that. We'll have that. Thanks, Jason, and thanks everybody. We'll have a link, have that spreadsheet, and also the folder where you would put that slide that we're asking you all to put together.
So Lily, you're saying Jason Hill posted presenter information for Modders XLS?
Yes.
Yeah, I have access is denied for me. I don't
Oh,
know if others are
interesting.
having that issue.
Is it still denied with the link I just sent in? I'm afraid that if someone shares their link, like it's a little different just based on the sharing rules. It should. I am denied too. Okay.
I'm also
Okay.
going to Kristen Perry's email from Monday 2/24 at 3:27 p.m. I received that, and that I am able to get into now. Thanks.
Okay, great. All right, so it sounds like people have to access it through the email.
Sorry about diverting things there.
That's okay. All right. Who's next? Is it Rebecca?
Yeah, I have two questions. The first is, as things shift around, if we were to receive another session to moderate, would we get an email about that, or do we need to be constantly scanning that spreadsheet to make sure a session hasn't been reassigned to us? That's my first question. And my second question is, when did the email go out with the Whova link for moderators?
That has gone out a couple of times. It seems that like the moderator information I have is a little different, so it's quite possible that if you don't have it, you didn't get it because I don't have you listed. So if you could just put in the chat what session you're moderating, I will get you added to that.
Yeah, and then as for your first question, we wouldn't put you as a moderator for a session without letting you know.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Adeline?
Yeah, related to people not being able to come at the last minute, if we have somebody who isn't able to come to their talk, what should we do as moderators? Like, should we just sit for 15 minutes? Do we show if they posted something online, try to show that? What should we do?
Yeah, so you should just maybe have a few questions just to get kind of a discussion going. We're not expecting you to pull any materials from online to fill that time. I mean, people, if they need a bathroom break, but ideally, yeah, you'll just maybe just try to have a conversation going that's relevant to your session.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right. Any other questions? I think Rebecca's hand is still up, but I'm not seeing anything else. All right, Mike.
Hey, I've got a quick question. So on the on that slide you want us to make, is the session code the like there's like our special session code has a code like S6, right? But then there's
Yeah.
the letters that are on the top column. Which one do you want us to put in there? Like it's the A through the L or something?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
put
top.
the
Yeah.
Okay.
put the letter
Yes.
and the number that relates to put the letter and the number that relates to your session. The other coding, even though it shows up on some agendas but not all, and shows up on the spreadsheet, I believe, are just our tracking for submitted session proposals.
Okay. So use the letter and the
But-
number that are on the top, not the letter and the number that are right above the name of the session.
The letter and the numbers essentially that are generally above each of the columns in the agenda that's posted online. I'd have to take a look and see what.
Yeah, we
who
don't
it
want to
looks
use the
but-
like S41.
Okay.
The one that starts with S is not what we're using.
Not the S.
If the number goes over 10, you're doing it wrong.
This one is an actual example of of something that's on the agenda. So if people need to reference, they can look at this one.
And if we have a session that spans like 3 time periods, can we just make 3 slides in one PowerPoint? Is that cool? Or
Yes,
we have to
please
make
do
3
that.
separate ones? Okay, cool. Very good.
As long as it's up on the computer, it'll be fine.
All right. Matt?
Sorry. On your example, I don't think Nick is the moderator for that. I don't think he's available to attend.
Yeah, that's right. I just had made this a while ago and this is not, that's everything else on this slide is correct except for his name.
Thanks for the heads
And
up.
I think actually at this time we are still looking for a moderator. So if anyone on here wants to volunteer, that would be fantastic.
Apparently, it looks like Matt did volunteer.
Yeah.
Or he was
Thanks.
assigned.
Yeah. Thank you.
So so I'm in the moderator spreadsheet or presenter information for moderators, and I can't find my session number. It seems to be organized by these other numbers, and I don't know which of those is associated. Can you help me? Sorry.
Yes. So the agenda is helpful for that. Knowing where these other numbers are tied to your session, but it should be like the second set. So so there's like L1 S20 or something. S20 should be right. Am I speaking correctly, Devin? Right? Shouldn't the second part of that tab number be what they're familiar with?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
the
just that
session
there's
number is in the top left-hand corner, and I think that's what you guys are familiar with. That's like the S21. And then what it has been assigned to on the agenda is now the E3 G4 example. So that like all of the E's are on this at the same time, and then all the G's are at the same time. And so that is that G4 in the tab title is the new identifier for it.
So where would I find something like the G4 information?
So it's in order of the agenda.
So Devin, I'm wondering, would it be easy enough to kind of throw together, like on the first tab, like another tab of like a key for people to, you know, because it seems like everyone is familiar with their S number and not this other number. And rather than, you know, I guess looking through the whole agenda and then, or just through each tab, it could be easy enough if we just had kind of a key on the first tab.
Okay. Yep, I can work
That
on
sounds
getting
like a
that.
great idea, Lily.
Thanks.
And Amalia, I actually, what session are you moderating?
I just had to look that up. It's S59.
59. Okay.
Oh, I found it. Whew.
And then are you doing all 4 of the blocks associated with S59?
Neither of my other co-presenters or co-moderators of this session are able to make it. So
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. I think part of the issue of not everyone getting Hulu links is that I don't have co-moderators. I only have that first name.
Gotcha. So I can put my name on this spreadsheet if that's helpful.
I got it. I just added it.
I think
Lily, there's
honestly,
some
as
good
you-
questions in the chat if you haven't seen them. If they only have 3 presenters, do they have to keep to the 20-minute presentation time?
Yeah, I actually saw that, and it looks like Dave answered yes.
And
Yeah, that
then-
allows so that if you are looking, if you would like to see multiple presentations, you can room hop.
And then there was one about upgrading poster presenters to full presentations if they have cancellations.
That's a Kristen.
You may have a situation, because we have told some presenters that were pushed to posters, if they're coming in person, that they should bring their presentation as a backup and check in with the moderator before the session starts if they're missing any people to fill in. But that's not going to happen for a lot of poster presenters, since we're having a lot of cancellations from some of the agencies right now. So those that have said they were coming and a poster presenter might not be coming as a poster presenter anymore. But if you have someone who was in that, who is in that session some way, and they have a presentation to give, feel free. Of course, it won't be advertised as going on, but it'll essentially take up the space you have until your next speaker starts on the time they're allotted.
There's a question from Sarah about who is reaching out, or who's responsible for reaching out to confirm that slides are posted to Whova. Is the moderator responsible, or someone else doing that by the end of the week?
So initially remember that we're talking about the deadline for posting to the OneDrive is the 28th. Don't confuse that with uploading your session to Whova. There are 2 different things speakers can do. They have the option, and we have encouraged them to put up their pre-recorded presentation, hopefully either with audio or captions or something, that they can put up as Whova for all of the attendees, both in person and virtual, that missed their presentation because they're either not there or they're at a different session, can access it easy, and it'll be captured the way they want it as their presentation. The second thing is so that we have most of the presentations loaded on the laptops in each of the various rooms ahead of time, so we don't have to deal with that. that loading and the things that can happen that go wrong is that you need to have your presentation that you're going to give without any audio or anything else, because the fact that you're there to speak, that deadline is Friday, the 28th. You
Yeah, the
have some
28th.
time to put up a pre-recorded presentation on Hoover anytime up to the time that the conference starts is what we'd recommend, as well as the conference website. The conference Hoover, for people that are attendees, either virtual or in person, will have access to programming up to about 3 months. So if you're a little late getting those up on Hoover, feel free to put them up when you can. But we're hoping that you'll get us the presentation so we can pre-populate the laptop computers we're using for presentations by that deadline date that you have.
Yeah, we did encourage people to get their recording up by the 28th as well. It's kind of like our general deadline, but the slides are most important by the 28th. And yes, if people are pre-recording, that deadline is way more flexible because we appreciate everyone doing that. But yes, mainly the slides for Kristen. And then who is responsible for making sure that they are uploaded? So I know I'm assuming we're asking moderators to encourage their presenters to upload them, but Kristen, are you, I assume if they're not uploaded, then you'd probably reach out for that information, right?
If I don't see it uploaded, then it probably will not be that I wouldn't reach out until very close to the conference date to make sure either that the presenter can email me their presentation, upload it on OneDrive, or that they're going to bring that presentation with them to the conference on a USB.
There's another question about presentations that cannot be recorded. Liz doesn't see any in her session, so can she assume that hers are all fine?
Yes. And then I see the note about how will room hoppers know which presentation is what time. So that information will be on Hoover, right? A couple days before, maybe a week prior, right, to the conference, there will be a detailed agenda.
Yeah, Hoover goes online to just the regular registrants, not moderators, presenters, or workshop leaders or facilitators a week before the conference starts, which is probably Monday, this coming Monday. That way everyone will have access to the populated agenda in Hoover, which essentially they can set their own agendas. Each of the sessions that they select, it'll show the order and the list of the presenters. You can click on the presenter to get the biographical information. You can also click to get the abstract for that particular talk. And it'll also include within that session, although it'll also be listed under the virtual scheduling, if there's a asynchronous talk that goes with that session, and they have uploaded that talk, and that asynchronous presenter has uploaded the talk.
Hey, Jeff, this is Dave. Regarding order of presenters, other than the people that do not want their presentation recorded, the moderators, are they able to assign an order of presenters as they desire it? And if so, how do they do that?
I'm under the impression that should have happened already, Dave, in terms of what the moderators thought were in there. If they haven't, then I think Kristen or Devin have essentially set that so that we can get that on the schedule, populate the Hoover schedule before it becomes live. So if moderators want to make a change to the order that is currently listed, then they should contact Kristen and Devin very soon. Confirm that the speakers that you want to change have given permission to record and capture, and then so that, because those have to be at the end to make it easier to control capturing the sessions and the talks that we can, which we'll be talking about in a moment. But That should have happened already when the moderators were going through their selected sessions, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, so in general, people should stick to the order that they're listed in the spreadsheet. And then what do we say or do with asynchronous? So we're just asking that you just let people know that there's some asynchronous talks associated with your session. And we have also asked that asynchronous presenters, if they are going to be present in person, they just try to be in the room of that session, so that way they can get a shout out and people can chat with them about their presentation. And same with posters. Amalia?
So, for my session, posters are listed using the same annotations as when an in-person session is happening. And I'm just a bit confused about how to figure out when the posters for my session are happening.
So the goal with including those posters in the session is more to give those authors a shout out, just to bring more visibility to posters. All posters will be presented midday on Wednesday, not during the session times.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So for the posters, there's the reception on Tuesday night, which is an exhibitor and poster reception. There's also extended time for lunch, which is an hour and a half. Or more on Thursday. I think it's either Wednesday or Thursday. On Wednesday, we have an extension to particularly view posters Wednesday afternoon. Posters will not just be listed in Hoover related to the session, but they'll be listed they'll be listed as for the reception, and then just as posters. You can do a search on the agenda just to show posters.
Thanks.
Liz, you should have received an email with the link. I think because the link was pasted in the chat from people that maybe don't have the right, like, I don't know exactly what the terminology would be, but like the rights, the sharing rights for the link. It's blocking it for people, but if you access it through the web, through the email that you should have received from Kristen, I believe yesterday evening, you should be able to access it.
It should work through the link from me as well.
Okay.
That one says information for moderators.
Can I ask a follow-up question? So I see that to get the like spreadsheet for the presenters, I'm talking about the folder where presenters are uploading their presentations. I'm not seeing that anywhere. And when I click on the link from the moderator packet, that's like presenters should upload their files here, that's where it takes me to this, like, I can't see any of the files that have been uploaded.
Gotcha. Devin or
so
Kristen?
The OneDrive for the presenters is separate. And we've said that that's not public. So the goal for for you guys to see the abstracts is through Hoover next Monday.
Bob's question, yes, they were told a number of times. It's in the presenter instructions. It was asked when they were filling out their presenter information. If you did not respond correctly, then then feel free to get to Kristen and Devin, and they'll try to reorder a presentation that was put earlier to make sure it's towards the end, so it'll not be recorded.
Okay. For the interest of time, I'm going to switch it over to Jeff here, but please continue to reach out if you have questions.
Do you have, do I have share screen?
Yes, you should. I stopped sharing.
Are you seeing my screen in terms of the presenter view, or are you seeing my screen in terms of just a single slide? We're not seeing anything.
Not seeing you yet, Jeff.
Okay, hold on. I was having some technical issues myself earlier to get on. Let's see what we can do here. Share screen. People. All right. Why is it showing?
We can see it now.
You see it now? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So if you're a concurrent session chair, that means the 20-minute presentations. We have this set up to try to be as simple as possible to capture the session using Zoom meeting. It won't be live streamed. No one else is going to be on that Zoom. We're just using Zoom to capture the session. The way that laptop is going to be set up, and the reason that we're not allowing presenters to switch the laptops in and out for a number of reasons, but mostly so we can do the capture correctly, is because the way that it's going to work hopefully seamlessly is that the laptop will already have been set so that it's an extended view in terms of using two screens, one screen being the screen of the laptop and the other screen being the actual projection that the audience sees. So the audience does not have to see the Zoom interface, Zoom being the video recording capture system we're using within Hoover. There'll eventually be links to those recorded sessions after they're checked and edited. It will be the whole session that's recorded, except for those presentations that were not given permission to be recorded. So the onus of getting presenters having their own presentation up there singly allows folks to go directly to that presentation. They're not going to be able to select a certain presentation to see from the capture. What they're going to see in the capture that will be posted a week or so after the conference ends will be just the whole session as one single video that will be populated on a private YouTube channel, but only accessible through the Hoover app for people that were registered for the conference. We don't expect to post any of these videos afterwards, like the council has done previously, posting just PDFs of PowerPoints that have been given permission, but we will get rid of those videos after the 3 months that Hoover allows visibility to those folks that were registered either as in-person or virtual attendees. First thing you're going to do is load any missing edited presentations into the session folder. It's imperative that you load presentations into the specific session folder for your session. And since you're going to be making those slides talking about what your session is, that session folder will have the A1, B2, C3, or whatever session listed as the title. If you can make sure all the presentations are in their folder, please do not post anything on the desktop. There's a number of reasons for that. The laptops that we've acquired for use have limited hard drive space. When you start posting onto the desktop, you're using up very important virtual memory space. And by the end of a day, if there's things that are really located or so many windows open on a given laptop, it will crash. The rented computers don't have the most memory, nor do they have very big hard drives. They do have an operating system and a processor that's going to allow us to do what we want, but just. So you're really pushing it in terms of having a laptop breakdown if you start placing things onto the desktop and not in the specific folder. That will also help our service providers who are going to follow up with taking PDFs and posting them on a future NWQMC website like we have in the past, assuming permission has been given. The first thing to do is open PowerPoint if it's not already open, and select your first slide, which might be your session slide, that can be up there while you're waiting for everything else to happen. And then eventually it'll be your first PowerPoint presentation. The Zoom icon should already be open on the taskbar on the bottom where all the little programs you have are. It's a PC, so it'll just have all the different icons for the various software that's available. Zoom should already be logged in and already open. So you can click that once and it'll open up the Zoom console. Once you have Zoom open, it'll be most likely maximized on the computer, which is fine. You're just going to work from the laptop and you're going to click the share button in Zoom. And it's important that when you take a look at the share, I'm going to try to demo this after we go through these slides. If you look at the share, there are going to be a number of options to choose for what you're sharing. Okay, the first choices you're going to have are screen 1 or screen 2. Do not choose either screen 1 or screen 2. If you look a little further down, and you might need to scroll down, it's hard to say without knowing the resolution of the laptops and not having a laptop that we're actually using in front of me. But when you look down from your screen 1, screen 2, you'll see a group of selectable other choices for sharing, which are found under the title Application Windows. And you want to pick the application window that says PowerPoint Slideshow. There will be an application window that shows PowerPoint Slideshow. When you open that up, what's going to happen? Let's go to the next slide. So now it's working. Sorry, let me start that again. Are we seeing that first slide?
Yes.
Okay. There we go. When you click share, you shall now see the presenter screen on the laptop, but the actual projected screen will still show that first slide you have up, or essentially the slide that's in the PowerPoint without seeing any of the Zoom console. And that's what we're trying to do, is make sure the audience doesn't have to worry about taking a look at all the things that you or the presenter might be doing. And also the presenter will essentially have the presenter view on the laptop, not what you're seeing currently, but the actual presenter view, which has the navigation slides, the chance to choose a pointer, as well as what the next slide looks like. The Zoom screen is still going to be there on the screen of the laptop, but it's just going to be minimized. You can maximize the Zoom screen then, and nothing's going to show to the audience or to what's being transmitted out. And you can start recording. First thing you want to do is turn on captions, and then you can start recording to the cloud. If you don't see those selections in the Zoom choices laid out as an icon without doing anything, go to where it says more. It's a circle with 3 dots. Click on more, and you'll see both the selections for captions as well as to turn on recording. It's really dependent on the resolution and the size of the screen of the computer, whether or not you see all the icons or if they stick a bunch of them in more. So we really won't know until we get a look at the computers that we're using. But generally, worst comes to worst, if you don't see the captions button or the record button, just click the little circle with 3 dots, and that will give you your choices within the Zoom window, the Zoom console. And that will give you the ability to turn captions on. And you want to record to the cloud. You do not want to record to the computer for reasons I briefly explained, talking about not putting things on the desktop. We don't have the hard drive capacity for that, and it'll be easier for us to edit in the end and to deal with all the capturing and converting to MPEG. So make sure that you capture to the cloud in Zoom. Do not capture to this. The other choices, capture to this computer. Do not do that. At the last slide of any presentation, hitting the slide advance will stop the share, and then that will allow you to load up the next presentation. You're going to still keep everything going. You can pause the recording, and again, with Zoom, you need to be sure that when you when you have the recording on, you'll see 2 different selections for stopping the recording. One is the pause sign, which is the 2 vertical lines, and one is the end, which is usually the circle with a little square inside. Be sure to always pause the recording throughout your whole session. We don't want to break up your session into separate pieces, otherwise it'll be a nightmare to try to be able to put single session presentations up. You can use the pause if you want to get the next slide ready for presentation, but make sure then you hit play again. So the double vertical bars will change to the arrow sign. Make sure you hit the arrow sign. When you get to a speaker who does not want to be recorded, also continue doing what you were doing in terms of selecting the PowerPoint presentation to show, but don't stop the recording, but pause the recording, because at the end of each session, if there's time, there might be some additional discussion. So be sure to pause the recording after the first speaker that comes on that did not give permission for recording. Any speakers after that will also be the same. And so do not turn the recording back on until the end of the session if you have time to have some further discussion with all of the speakers, which is what you've already been given instructions for in terms of how the time should work within a given concurrent session. So you're going to just continue to repeat these instructions until the session ends, or you come to speakers not given permission to pause, and you should be there. So, important details for concurrent session chairs: do not change the extended screen settings or try to get into the screen that we're just projecting to the LCD projector that the attendees are seeing. Do not load anything on the desktop. If the Zoom icon is not visible in the taskbar, as I mentioned, we'll have Zoom login info for that particular room right next to the laptop, so it'll allow you to log in with the Zoom account number and the code. Remember to hit caption. Remember to hit record to cloud and record to this, and not record to this computer. And remember to use the pause icon, not the end recording icon. Always minimize the Zoom window. Do not close it. If you close the Zoom window, you essentially will be asked if you want to end the session. So don't end the session because we want to capture it. The thing you can do is minimize it so that it goes back down to being an icon. or it minimizes down to where you can move it so it's not in the way for the presenter to see their slide that's showing as well as the next slide. That might cover up their notes so they can move that around, but do not close the Zoom window, and make sure your presenters know not to close the Zoom window. They can move it, but don't close it if they need to move it away from something that's being blocked, particularly if they have notes for the PowerPoint presentation. But that would be the only thing, because the Zoom window can be placed in that space, which typically is not always populated. So with that, I'm going to end this for a second, and then you can answer any questions before I do, any questions that have come up before I do a demo for you all.
Hey, Jeff, I think it's probably, there are questions in the chat that we've been trying to answer. I do think people are a bit intimidated when it's just in writing, but hopefully with you all walking through everything, it'll provide some peace of mind.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go into Zoom. I was having some trouble logging into Teams, so I had to unlog from Zoom. So I will just log into my Zoom account, and then we'll go back to sharing my screen. So give me a sec. Zoom.
Sure, I can say something about USGS quickly. We're meeting with the co-lead for the conference, Pam, today about USGS attendance. Yes, we have heard that they are not able to attend in person. So we're planning on discussing that with Pam this afternoon. And EPA is currently attending, yes.
All right. There we go. Okay, I'm going to get back into share screen. Window, where is it? So, okay. Hoping you can see the Zoom window. Is that correct?
We cannot
Nope.
see it, Jeff.
Okay. It said I could do it. Let's see why Teams doesn't let me do it. Share this window. This window 10 screen. It's not letting me share. Huh? How about now?
We can see your face in a picture.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah,
a
it looks like
picture.
the
Can you,
Zoom,
okay?
yeah.
All right.
All right.
So again, I have PowerPoint on, so I'll show you. You would open the Zoom window, you will get the console here. The first thing I mentioned was how to share the PowerPoint. You already have your PowerPoint presentation open and in presentation mode, like I do. I will hit share. And notice up here, you've got your you have your two screen connections. Instead, I'm going to go down below where it says application windows. And I'm going to go to where it says PowerPoint slideshow, and it'll show you the title of the slide. And then, of course, once you select that, you still need to hit that share button on the bottom, and then that will happen. What then will happen is that your PowerPoint should show. Let's get rid of that. Your PowerPoint should show in your console, and it's not showing right now, but it will. Because I'm running Zoom and Teams at the same time, the computer's acting a little funky. You can make your Zoom full screen. No, I'm still in share. Hold on. Let me get to. You can make your Zoom full screen by hitting a little arrow there. Once you're ready to go, you see your first slide showing. You're then going to go. In this case, I don't see record, so I'm going to hit the more button. And then you'll see there's a caption selection. I can
You're
hit
not
that.
sharing anymore, Jeff.
Not sharing
anything,
anymore?
Jeff.
Good. Hold
No.
on. Sorry, the computer's not being very happy with sharing Teams and Zoom up at the same time.
Jeff, it may make sense to record a short
Yeah,
video
let me do
of the
this. I'll
steps.
record a video that shows the steps and post it on the website where it says program, and then all the drop downs have all the instructions and guidelines for folks, just to show it. But again, it's really a two-step process. As long as you select the right screen to share, things should go smoothly. And it's just a question of being sure, again, of making sure that you pause and don't stop the recording. You remember to put captions on, and you do stop the recording for those folks that don't want to share. You do pause the program for those that don't want to share. But if it looks like you have time, you're going to have time for a discussion in terms of the total session time. You can turn it on again after those unauthorized presentations are given.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, just to remind everyone, there will be technical experts walking around to make sure that you're comfortable. We're just asking you to do your best with all this. So we don't expect you to memorize all the steps that you have to take before the conference. And
we'll also have instructions
in the room
nearby.
Sounds good.
With the same steps.
Great. All right. Any questions? I'm sure you have lots, but again, don't sweat it too much. Aaron?
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So just a clarifying question, dealing with the pause versus stopping session in relation to, having some presenters who might not be able to have their presentations recorded. So if we have the presenters who are able to have their stuff recorded, we're supposed to hit pause at the end of the last presenter. We're not recording those who can't have their presentations recorded. And then we're restarting it for the discussion, the 10 minutes that's supposed to be at the end. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay. Thanks.
That way, for those folks that missed a session, they won't be able to see the presentations, but I'm assuming the Q&A is going to be fine for folks since they're not showing their presentations and they're just answering, they'll be just answering questions or discussing all the presentations together.
Okay, thanks.
Good question. Is caption an obvious key?
Yeah, essentially, when you go to the little circle with 3 dots, which says more, it's one of the first things you say because they're in alphabetical order. So captions is above record. You just hit captions, and it will most likely turn on, or it might, depending upon the version of Zoom you have it that we have loaded on the computers, it might confirm that you want it captioned in English, which it will be doing. And then right below that, once you hit captions, you hit that same button again for more, and you'll get the video recording, and it'll give you 2 options. It'll say record to the cloud, which is what you want to do, or record to this computer, which you don't want to do. I agree, Michael.
All right. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I think we'll wrap up, but please, people, continue to reach out if you do have questions.
Okay, hold on. Remember
any links to anything. Go ahead.
Just before we close, we were supposed to also, for the panel, for the tech folks, I have slides for them.
Oh, sorry.
Because it's a whole different, yeah, before you cut it off. For those of you who are just session moderators or presenters that were just interested that are dealing with concurrent sessions, my next talk presentation is really for those tech folks who are on that will be positioned in each of the rooms, in each of the facilitated discussion or panel discussion rooms, because we're going live with those. In some ways, it's a little even simpler than what you're doing because we're going to be using 2 laptops, but in other ways, they need to be a little bit more of a director. So that's why we have independent people besides the moderators of those sessions dealing with that, and we have the extra laptop in there. So if we've taken a lot of your time, if you're good with what it is, and I will post a video demonstration of what to do in Zoom, then you're good. For those folks that have volunteered to be tech experts, stay on if you can, and I can quickly go over those, which isn't very different, and sometimes just as almost easier than the moderators, because of the fact that what you're doing on your laptop is not going to be shown anywhere. Are we good?
Yes. Are you? Do you need? Yeah.
It looks like we're down to 8 people, and it's just 2 people that are not members of the planning committee. So.
And I'm jumping off now.
You're allowed to. I'm just pointing out.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we, since we're recording this, right? Why don't we record this and post it for those people that missed it? And then if they have questions, they can contact me.
Works for me.
Sound like a plan?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to share.
And now we're actually just down to the planning committee. So it
Oh,
may
in that
make
case,
sense, Jeff, for you
at
just to
this
record a
point, yeah.
video and post that.
Why don't I record a video and post it? Although when I'm going to have time to do that, I have no idea because
It will stress your system less, though, than trying
yeah.
to do both at the same time.
No, that sounds good. That'll give me a chance to get off here anyway before we have our USGS conversation.
Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. And I'll send over my slides and then Jeff,
Yeah, I can
I
get it
guess.
posted.
Yeah,
Sounds
do you
good.
want, so I can send over my slides too. We might want to separate them between the regular one and the moderator and the tech training one so that there's no confusion.
Do you want them on the OneDrive as well as the website or just the website?
Oh, I think the website
Or
is
just
fine,
the
although
web-
it
just-
sounds
okay.
like some people are counting on the web. It's having more problems getting to the OneDrive than they should be to the website. So that should,
Yes.
that
Okay.
should help.
Yeah. I
I
think
can
the
have my
website's
folks
good.
put it up on the website.
I
Did
updated the
you-
links in the spreadsheet, Lily, so I think coming from me, they should be fine. They should work now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, and
So
sorry
I did
about
have a, go ahead.
proposing the key. I don't know how easy. I hope that's not too much work to pull together.
I don't particularly want to be like I5 is session 59. I kind of just put a note in to say if you don't know it, it's an agenda order. If you don't know it, just control find for your session number. And like hopefully
Okay.
that's okay. And then I put
Yeah.
information about what to do for posters and asynchronous.
Okay.
Yeah, especially
what-
because it sounds like now people are going to have a lot of different moderating
Yeah.
things to do than what we originally thought they were going to have to do.
You mean with like recording it?
No, not necessarily, but I mean like if people really can't come from USGS, then we're going to need a lot of different people to step up and be moderators that we definitely do not have listed as moderators currently.
Yeah, we don't know
Gotcha.
who those people might be until we get all the final approvals from all of the different agencies. And if something can easily happen, just like at USGS where they cancel, where they essentially cancel their travel cards. We can still work with invoicing, but then again, you want to make sure that you're gonna that if that's done, they will be able to pay an invoice because of the fact that other restrictions were put in place, which we don't know of. EPA is getting around most of that because of are the recording off?
No.
Hang on, I'm gonna stop it right
Yeah.
now.
We can slice that off.